Hello and welcome to Rabobank's Food and Agribusiness Research. My name's Luke Chandler, General Manager of our Australia and New Zealand team, and I'm joined today by Matt Costello, our Animal Proteins Analyst for New Zealand and Australia. Today we're here to bring you some insights into one of our latest reports looking at market access and the competitive challenges that this brings for Australia and New Zealand's agricultural sectors. So Matt, there's a lot of change taking place at the moment. Do you want to run us through some of the major developments recently?
Yeah, thanks Luke. There certainly has been, particularly if you look at the Australian almost swing in momentum we've seen since the elected government in 2013. New Zealand, by all means, still remains, for the most part, the envy of most exporting nations. But Australia have really caught up a lot of ground there, particularly with the free trade agreement with Japan and Korea recently. For both countries, market access is extremely critical. Australia exports about 65% of what they produce, and New Zealand's even higher at above 80%. So while we have world-class production systems, if we don't have markets to export product into, we're only getting half the job done.
The Japanese free trade agreement has really been in the news lately and has been a real development for Australia's agricultural sector, one of the few major exporters around the world to get such an agreement. Can you please highlight some of the key takeaways from that report and what it means for the agricultural sectors?
Certainly were sectors that weren't happy with the outcomes, dairy as the main one, but if you look at the beef industry, for instance, ultimately we would love to have seen a complete phase out of the tariffs, but in my personal view that was never going to happen with the Japanese, so what we negotiated was a reduction in tariff by about 8% for the first year for frozen beef and 6%. So in what does that mean numbers wise? We're probably talking in 3 years' time of a saving around $150 million.
So there's been a lot of development around free trade agreements recently, but that's really only one half of the story, isn't it? Do you want to run us through some of these other developments like technical barriers which are really influencing trade, particularly into some of these emerging markets?
They're essentially any issues that can come in market or in terms of trade. So, you know, you're talking about things like quarantine processes, processing certification, these type of things that even if you do have free trade agreements or very good access to the markets, you can still find that these often get posed as to slow it down.
As this develops and the competitiveness landscape sort of changes, what are some of the recommendations, if you like, that come out in the report?
We really try to give some real meaning to the report by posing some questions, some challenges to the industry. I think I raise a point during the report to say, given Australia and New Zealand's reliance on export, is there a need for both countries to come together to help lobby? If we look at both trade agreements and indeed these technical trade barriers, they're not unique. They don't often fall on the one government or the one exporter. So we certainly see lots of similarities, lots of differences, but ultimately lots of experiences that can be shared.
The Rabobank Food and Agri Research report focused on market access will be released very soon. We'll also be sharing further insights into some of these competitive challenges for Australia and New Zealand's agricultural sectors in coming months, looking at productivity, value-added processing and other issues that are really facing Australia and New Zealand's agricultural sector. We look forward to sharing these insights with you then. Thank you very much.